The landscape is changing, maybe slowly, but it is changing. And through English football's inclusion and anti-discrimination plan, we are collectively gradually chipping away at some sort of long-term prejudices. Some examples. More county FAs are advertising non-executive director roles. And currently you'll find Birmingham FA is openly advertising for 3 of these, so people are invited to apply. Nathan Blake, one of last year's graduates, is now a non-exec director at Newport County. This is very much down to Nathan himself making this happen. There are now 10 female CEOs in county FAs. That's 1/5 of the country. Long overdue. There was a raft of training across the professional and grassroots game. And collectively, with our professional and grassroots colleagues, we're doing a piece of work on equality monitoring. Because you see, unless you do the monitoring, you can't know the picture of diversity across the game. And we have to have an accurate baseline so we can plan the future.
On the board was developed as one of the EBM programs, and it was developed because we know that in sports, a lot of people, when they've done their career, and footballers in particular, their careers finish at quite a young age, and there's lots of things they need to do afterwards. But there isn't as many jobs as they would like in coaching, in things related to football, so it leaves a gap for them. So what we thought was, how could we use the skills that they've already got, transferable skills from sport, and use that to the benefit of a voluntary organisation, for example.
I'm here with Chris Ramsey, QPR boss, the only black manager in the Premier League. Chris, we're here at the Get On Board function. You was obviously part of the first cohort. What do you reckon?
I think it's been brilliant. I'm really pleased that I went on the first one because it's helped me in the position that I am now, and I'm sure it's helped Les as well. He's been fantastic support for me, and it helps you to see what actually goes on behind the scenes and understand it more. Well, of course, it really allows you to understand how groups of people work and how individuals fit into groups, and how you can make the thinking more diverse and more open, and allow you to really put yourself forward and realise that you do have an individual value to any group.
Well, first and foremost, if there was diversity in the boardroom, there wouldn't be a need for this programme. So the very fact that this programme is on tells its own sorry tale. In terms of, we've heard a few of the speeches tonight talk about the same people in the boardrooms, and if there is a black or ethnic minority person in there, you already know him because you've already sat on the same boards. What this programme does is just refresh all that. It gives players who have been in the game, or people that are involved in the game, the opportunity, one, to learn, because a boardroom is not an easy environment to understand. So one, to learn about the dynamics of a boardroom, and two, then to apply your knowledge to that as well. And I think the more that we can get young, fresh people with different ideas, a white person being on a boardroom is totally different to a black person's knowledge of being, in an environment and in the game, because they have different experiences. And I think the point that this programme makes is that there are a lot of good black and ethnic minority people out there that can add value to boardrooms, and the sooner we get them in there, the better it will be collectively for the game.
I've seen all the issues that are around at the moment and in the past. How can we change it? Doing courses like this, organisations like this that can help expose and highlight the issues that are outstanding. So through the 6 months, I've learnt a hell of a lot.
Was it difficult 6 months?
Yeah, well, it is mind-boggling, but it's also enjoyable. The group that we had, Carl, who led the whole thing, brilliant for it. He just made it fun as well.
He's got a great enthusiasm for governance. I I was here last year, and he said it's difficult to make corporate governance, sexy.
Yeah, you got to make it palatable, and I think he's done that with this year's lot as well. But I'm glad to get through it. This is not the end of the road. There's going to be more lessons to learn with the course, and I think it's just going to be part of my remaining life, really. I've seen that when I watch the news now, I'm looking at the governance side of everything now. So it's made my vision and my scope even broader than it was before. Now I'm picking up on key words on programmes. I'm watching not Newsnight, I forgot the Question Time on a Thursday. I'm starting to watch these sort of programmes and understand about debates and issues of the country or whatever.
Michael, great evening. Get on board.
Fantastic evening. It's a great night to see the graduates obviously get the awards, get the certificates. And it's also great to see football turn out and support them, so it's been brilliant.
Clearly we need to see more of this sort of thing to make changes. Chris Hughton talked about enthusiasm. Do you think there's an enthusiasm from the authorities to accept what's happening here?
I think football clubs need to open up more. It's great to see the governing bodies here. And I'll congratulate the FA for being here, the PFA, the LMA had Richard Bevan here. But it'd be great to see the football clubs be represented in here so that they can hear some of the great work, listen to some of the knowledge, the wisdom of some of the guys who are on the panel. And until the actual football clubs actually start to come and say, do you know what, we really need to take notice of this course, then I feel sometimes we're swimming against the current. And it's great to see people being shadowed and allowed opportunities, but how many of these, this is the second cohort, we've got 40 plus graduates, how many of them have actually gone into a football club and somebody's gone, you know what, we've got to get this guy or lady on the board.
And obviously we've got to stay positive because in comparison to when you were playing, progress is being made.
Absolutely, progress is being made. It's great to see Nathan Blake at Newport. It's also brilliant to see Les Ferdinand. And so progress is being made, but we still got to make sure that we keep at it. We don't stop. There's lots of talented guys and ladies who just need that opportunity to show their skills.
Is this really necessary? That's what I'm asking.
It's 100% necessary. I think certainly in my playing days, I didn't even think there were players allowed in the boardroom or in the director's box. I can probably remember the first 10 years in my career, so from 90 to 2000. I can't remember seeing a black player in a director's box, in the seats, let alone in the boardroom. I think since you've had the different owners come in, you've had the Indian, you've had the Czech, you've had the Russian. They're changing the rules, so you're getting a little bit more diversity within that. But is it enough? No, it's not.
I can understand former players coming here and having a lot to say, but the younger players are going to be looking at it and thinking, I don't want to upset the apple cart. There's no journey after I finish playing for me. I don't want to close too many doors. That's a fear for a lot of players. I mean, how do you deal with that? Because you've dealt with it. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think the fear is genuine. I think people look at their careers and look at options that may close to them if they're seen to be too direct about certain issues. But in life, some things are bigger than yourself. And there's principles that we have to adhere to, and as athletes or as footballers, we have a platform to talk from. And I think when you're talking about the representation of our community, when you're talking about equality of opportunity, these issues are too big to be quiet. And I think whether you're a vocal person or whether you're someone who just wants to lend support, I can feel the momentum changing amongst black players. I think 10 years ago, maybe we weren't talking about this as strongly, but I think now we're looking at the situation we find ourselves in. Less than 1% of black and ethnic minorities in leadership roles. No black managers at the start of the season. And the Sports People's think tank put together a report that showed out of 552 coaching positions right the way through football, there's only 19 black players in a position.
That's shocking.
And I was shocked. Someone who's I've got family in football, I've heard these stories from many people, but when you look at it in a cold light of day and you see that, it's unacceptable. And what's even more unacceptable is for us as black players to accept it. Something has to change, and maybe we can't affect the decision makers. What we can do is affect our situation, the way we go about it. And I think I said earlier, everyone has a responsibility, and we as players have a responsibility.
Hard work, dedication. Hard work. Dedication. Hard work. Dedication. And that's what we stick to.